America's UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. She joins us from the White House this morning. Ambassador Haley, thank you for joining us this morning. You know, the president said last night, we will win in Afghanistan, but he didn't define victory. So can you define victory specifically for the American people?
Well, I think what we're trying to do is defeat terrorism of all kinds. And I think in Afghanistan, what it's become is a safe haven. But it's not just about Afghanistan, it's also about the region. And so I think what you're seeing the president and the generals do is basically say, look, let's stay focused. Let's look at the terrorist attacks that could happen on American soil, but let's go after terrorism. And I think what you heard last night was strong. It was solid. I was in the National Security Council meetings, which there were multiple meetings. I saw the process of where it went. I saw this president ask a lot of questions, and I saw him want to go in a different direction. And I think it's a direction that's good for the country.
But Ambassador Haley, as you know, we've been there for almost 16 years now going after the terrorists. So I repeat my question, what is victory?
Well, I think victory is obviously that we want to see that we're defeating terrorism, we're defeating Taliban, we're defeating Al-Qaeda, we're defeating ISIS. And I think what you're going to see is with this plan, it's not going to be like the past 16 years where you knew how many troops and where and what. It's going to be very calculated. It's going to be very strategic. But more importantly, it's not going to be based on time. It's going to be based on results. And I think we've seen results like that. If you look at the way we're taking on ISIS in Syria and Iraq, if you look at the way we've handled North Korea, this is all very results driven. It's not about the talk, it's about getting things done.
But as you know, a lot of people hear that. They hear no ceiling on troops. They hear no timetable. They think that is a blank check.
Well, it's not a blank check. I can assure you the president was never going to allow a blank check, which is why he started in the beginning saying this war has gone on too long. 17 years is too long. We've lost too many lives and we've spent too much money. That's why this approach is going to be very different. But what you're not going to hear are the details. In the past, we've had administrations that have given out everything we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it. You're not going to hear that now, but you can rest assured that our generals are very strategic, they're very ready, and we're going to lift up the Afghan forces. That's the goal, but we're also going to lean on the region. Pakistan can no longer be a safe haven for terrorism. India needs to step up and do their part. We're going to have our NATO allies very much involved in this, and we're going to push to win.
I want to move on because the president also talked last night about the need to heal our divisions at home. When you were governor of South Carolina after those horrific Charleston murders, you took on the white supremacists. You took down the Confederate flag, and you spoke out when the candidate Trump was very slow to disavow David Duke and the KKK. I want to show what you had to say then.
We saw and looked at true hate in the eyes last year in Charleston. I will not stop until we fight a man that chooses not to disavow the KKK. That is not a part of our party. That's not who we want as president. We will not allow that in our country.
Eventually, candidate Trump did disavow David Duke and the KKK. But what were you thinking last week when you saw the president blame both sides for the violence in Charlottesville, when you said that many very fine people were marching with the white supremacists?
Well, I picked up the phone and I had a private conversation with the president about Charlottesville, and it was taken very well. What I will tell you is there is no room for bigotry and hate in this country. I know the pain that hate can cause, and we have to isolate them the way they want to isolate others.
Did the president understand he made a mistake?
I think the president clarified so that no one can question that he's opposed to bigotry and hate in this country, and that when our soldiers go out and fight, they fight unified. We need to make sure that we're a country that's unified back home. Yet
he still says that taking down Confederate statues is foolish. You took down the Confederate flag from the State House in Charleston.
Well, you know, it was the state that decided, but what our focus was, the Confederate flag was a living, breathing thing. It was representative of the here and now, and there was no place for that, especially after we saw 9 people murdered with the killer raising up the Confederate flag. And so that's why we brought it down. When the issue of monuments came up in South Carolina at that same time, we knew that we couldn't take down every monument or change every street sign or change the name of every university because there's history all throughout South Carolina. But instead, what we did is we worked with the mayor of Charleston to work on building an African memorial and an African museum, and that's what's happening right now. And so it's not just about what you take down, it's about what you proactively do to lift up your state and lift up your country.
Ambassador Haley, thanks for your time this morning.
Okay, thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.